Having another moment of reflection. I was listening to some inspiring content and someone said, discipline is divine, and it sort of rang through my brain a little bit. And just things in and around me at the minute, just coming to a place where differing perspectives, differing lifestyles, differing choices, differing prioritize mean that we can move in and away from people. We don't resonate with certain things anymore, certain behaviour, and lean into the uncertainty of everything, which is always the most difficult. I'm working a lot with Rose at the minute because it's beautiful for heart healing, and we all go through little bumps and shakes in our lives, and Rose is a very, very high frequency, and as some of you, if you've been here for a while, know, I make my own little infusions, rose oil, and always try to rub that and connect that sort of potency with my physical self, when that frequency with my physical self, when I need a little pick-me-up. But this thing about discipline being divine, and also devotion to self first and foremost, to truly like knowing ourselves and not performing or playing or acting for anybody, or to play a role that we have, meant to play anymore. It's someone's gone. And I guess, closing the doors and walking away from anything that is not divine or devotion. Some people think when I share his, I've heard, so serious and but I'm a very playful spirit by default. I'm not a low vibe, negative person. I don't wake up, connecting to the dread of the world. Unfortunately, some people do, and that's the personal, individual missions and work we have to do to overcome the many levels of feeling that we can experience as sentient beings on the planet. But I got pulled into somewhere there. But I'm generally upbeat and feel that discipline isn't serious. It helps me to maintain a clean, pure vibration. I mean, I'm not the purest of them all, let me tell you. Nor do I desire to be. I'm not on that. I've done that monk life in other lifetimes before, and it's not for me now. But gosh, if the Irish are coming true, then I think that it's a lot of energy after this 25 of April. People who don't channel will think it's a bit funny that things happen, but when people channel, you just realise the stuff comes in and out of your consciousness, and you're not always aware how and when it comes. But anyway, and discipline is, I don't know whether it's about celibacy or abstinence, or just not caving into the food cravings, which I have a few of at the minute. I'd try not to. Well, I guess everything is an act or response, an emotive response, isn't it? Like, if we're emotional, energetic beings, and we're sort of like misplaced, or if we're put out because we allow something external to shift our vibration, which, is the challenge. I don't really want to cave into carnal desires or emotional eating, or what else, other examples can I think of? I can't. But this discipline is divine. I just think it's amazing. I think back in the day, the gods and goddesses and the giants and the various beings that many of us believe, some don't, that's cool. I'm here for the people that resonate with this content, is just to have a little laugh as well. It's always nice. But they revelled in beauty and desire and also some in hedonistic pleasure, but there was a level of physical and mental discipline around how they lived their days, or how they pursued their love, or how they went into battle and were focused on various things. And I don't really want to bring battle and war into it at the minute because there's enough of that energy, but the essence of what I'm saying is that it is ingrained in us to have discipline. Like, it is ingrained in us to be mindful of what we take in on a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual level. And if we don't sort of practice that discipline, then we start to mix and match energies that some of us might not be aware of. I lived a time where I wasn't conscious of how I use my energy. And now getting back to a greater awareness, a deeper understanding of like my soul lessons, my patterns, my gifts, my clairsentient abilities, is discipline enhances growth. And if we are here to learn, and we've got through a few too many fuck it moments and now it's a bit boring, we just continually desire to prioritise the peace and also have some random fun, human life experience, blah, blah, blah. It's not all perfect. It's not all strict and disciplined all the time, but just generally, for the most part, for however much we need it in our lives to maintain a balance, discipline is divine. So I know it's 737, which is funny because that was on my clock when I woke up today, so I will check that. So that could be an angel number, 737 for someone. I think it's time that we practice what we preach. We can live in love, but if we're spreading shit energy around and messy and sloppy and mixing and merging energies and not focusing on the divinity within, everybody's got their own choice. But for me, that never really elevated me to a point where I fully could live in self-love, like truly love myself regardless of the opinions of others, regardless of what I look like, how I'm deemed, what my actions might be considered to do like this. I know myself, I know my path, and we try to maintain that. If you get pulled and pushed in different directions depending on what's coming through spiritually, what's happening in the physical around us, intimate relationships, or various dynamics or community interactions, that is where the work is. It's not easy, and life isn't easy. And there's an inspiring guy, I've forgotten his surname, like his name's Bjorn, and he talks a lot about sort of Viking history and his lineage, and his recent content was about modernity is weakness, and how we don't live like honourably as we perhaps may once have. And I really valued that. I do believe that life and people, we are sacred beings, but that obviously depends on our behaviour, and if we treat ourselves and treat each other as sacred beings, and rather than go around and expecting this, that and the other off someone else, if we can't give peace to ourselves, if we're not rooted in peace, if our vibration is not peace but it's chaotic, we're not going to get that from somebody else. And so practicing that discipline and that devotion to self and health health is wealth, you know, to use another catchphrase. But, oh God, this energy's mad. I'm sure many of us might have been up very, very late into the early hours of the night owl hours because of the spikes in energy, and I've just like had so much content and writing and various things come through my brain that I can't actually finish that thread that I was just about to. But discipline is divine, smell a raw today, up to vibration, and yeah, let's never give up on ourselves.